Is the brand new PlayStation 5 a two-tone success, or is it all dark? Let's find out. Okay, as always, we'll start with some background info on not only the PlayStation 5 today to see what it has, because we'll get to that later, but let's talk about first what the PlayStation has become and what its origins are. So, to kick the background info off, in 1994, Sony actually tried to partner with the already very successful gaming giant Nintendo to try to create another console called the SNES CD, or the Super Nintendo Entertainment System CD. It was basically an SNES with an optical drive, and it had different games as well. But ultimately, this partnership, of course, it failed, and Sony just branched out into their own division to try to create their own console. And ultimately, in December of 1994, Sony unveiled the PlayStation in Japan. This obviously was a very important decision in not only Sony's history, but the history of gaming consoles and Sony's PlayStation's competition as well. And it really kicked off the major gaming console wars, and eventually the Xbox would release, the Wii would release, so it was an important decision. And also in 2005, the PlayStation actually became the first console to sell over 100 million units total. And the PlayStation 2, if you didn't know, was actually the most popular gaming console ever sold, still to this day. Anyways, now that we've discussed the important background info and all of the interesting facts about the origin and history of the Sony PlayStation, let's actually get into the main topic for this video, the brand new PlayStation 5. Okay, so this obviously is the moment you guys have been waiting for. This is what the new PlayStation 5 and its controller is actually going to look like. So, it obviously is very controversial to say the least, and it definitely is a love-or-hate situation. Personally, I'm kind of in the middle, but we'll get to that later. I'll touch on my personal opinion of the design of this console in a couple of minutes. But first, let's just acknowledge the sheer size of this console and just how massive it is compared to previous PlayStation consoles and even the Xboxes. Okay, so if you take a look at this chart, it shows you the size differences of the various PlayStation and Xbox consoles over the years, and you can clearly see that the PS5 is much bigger than all of them, even the very large PS3, which back then people thought was a very big console. But apart from that, it also appears that it is intended to stand upright, but it might be able to sit on its side as well. So continuing with the overall design of the new PlayStation 5 is the colors of the controller and the console, because this, at least to me, seems like one of the most controversial parts of the design. So the PlayStation has this two-tone design. It's white and black, and this to me is the worst part of the design. I don't think it will age well, because obviously white plastic, it's not known for aging that well. It can be discolored, it can look very bad after a few years, especially because, at least to me, I keep the consoles that we buy for many, many years. Like, I still have a PlayStation 3 from 2008, and I'm still using it, and it looks perfectly fine. And I don't think that'll be the case with the new PlayStation 5. And I would have preferred if they made the console and controller just all matte black. It would have looked like a lot cleaner, and it would probably age way better too. And next up is probably what gamers care most about in the new PlayStation 5, and that's the overall specs and performance of this console and how good the gaming experience is. So starting with the controller, as you might have heard, Sony ditched the DualShock name. It's not called the DualShock 5 this time. They are now calling it the DualSense controller. And the reason they changed the name to DualSense instead of just DualShock is because now it uses a much more advanced haptic feedback vibration motor technology. So basically, it can vary the frequency, speed, and power of the vibration motor. So it will give you a very immersive gaming experience, or hopefully it will. The PS5 now has an AMD 8-core Zen-based CPU clocked at 3.5 gigahertz with variable frequency, a 10.28 teraflop variable frequency GPU, 16 gigs of GDDR6 RAM, and 825 gigs of SSD storage, which is important because they don't use a hard drive anymore. The PlayStation 5 uses a solid state drive. And that was a lot of numbers, but if you didn't quite understand all of those numbers, just know that this is definitely a healthy spec bump over the PS4, which is obviously aging because it's 7 years old now. There are a couple other new cool features, such as ray tracing, which is a very advanced way of rendering shadows and lighting in a game, and it probably will make games look substantially better, especially if it has a lot of shadows and lighting effects. PS5 will also feature a new 4K Blu-ray player as well, but I don't think many of us are that interested in that anymore because not many of us have CDs, DVDs, or Blu-rays lying around. And most of us, including me, would probably get the digital edition without the optical drive in the first place. And obviously, during the super long event, they did show some new games for the PS5, and the game that I clearly am most excited about, and that looked absolutely amazing to me, was Gran Turismo 7. It just had really good graphics, and it looked very realistic, so I'm excited to try that out, and I'm also a car guy, so I just want to try that game out and see if it does actually look really good. Anyways, that's been a very long overview of the new PS5, and I hopefully gave you all the info you need on the new... Wait, hold up. Did I forget something? Oh shoot, the price. Okay, so I'm just kidding, but let's just quickly touch on the price. So Sony didn't actually announce the pricing of the new PS5 during the event, which kind of was weird to me because the event was so long and they just didn't want to announce the pricing. That's a bit weird, but they did announce that there will be 2 models of the PlayStation 5. One model is just the regular PS5 with an optical drive, which to me looks very tacked on and like an afterthought pretty much. And then there's the PS5 Digital Edition without the optical drive and a much cleaner look. And I think most people, especially in this day and age, will go for the digital edition because nobody really has DVDs or CDs lying around anymore. Rumors do say, though, that the regular PS5 is going to start around $500 to $550, which is about $100 more than the current starting price of the PS4. And I don't think they should exceed that because it is a bit pricey, but hopefully the new PS5 with all its new features will be able to justify that expensive price. Okay, so now that you have all of the info you need on the PS5, I'm sure you can make a very informed purchasing decision when it actually does come out. and I will try to cover the PlayStation 5 in depth, even more in depth, when it comes out for sale. Finally, if you liked the video, crush the thumbs up button and smash the subscribe button, and bye.